Today I thought we'd do something which I see a lot of complaining about on forums and posts all over the web really, and it's about the right way of cleaning basically CDs and DVDs, so PlayStation 1 and 2 games, Xbox 360, Sega CD, Mega CD going all the way back, even the PC Engine or TurboGrafx CDs. This will also work on DVD movies. Basically anything on DVD or CD format will work. The one thing I've not tried it on, I'd rather not had much success on, was on the Dreamcast GD-ROMs, but I think it's because they're a different type of disc, so they have a different process of preparation. But anyway, just to start with, I mean, this is all to be done with stuff you've got sat around the house. So as you can see, nice and simple. We've got that's washing up liquid. I mean, I've just gone for a cheap Tesco one there. But the best stuff I've found to do this is Persil. CD, DVD, we'll do both. The kettle needs to be freshly boiled. That's very, very important. I'll explain why in a second. I mean, I just started this just boiled just before filming, so we'll time this just perfectly. Now, first thing to do, before we start, is this is just a normal DVD rewriter, because I actually haven't got any that I haven't cleaned at the moment. But basically you get a lot of discs where you'll have marks or light scratches on, and they might start skipping or have problems. You know, it's if you're playing a film, listening to music, it depends what you're doing. It even happens on games. But the thing is, when they press these at the factory, you can't see it obviously, but they put a very, very thin layer of plastic on top. And basically it's something you're very, very lucky, and the marks and the scuff marks are just on that thin layer, and what we're about to do just strips it away. The thing is, it doesn't damage the disc because it just dissolves this plastic layer on top, so it basically leaves your disc unprotected in that case. But if you're a retro collector, this is a great thing to do. But the one thing I would say, if you make sure you check the labels. If they've got like a paper sticky label on, don't do it, because obviously boiling water and paper is just going to dissolve. But all the stuff that's hard printed onto the disc, you can do just fine. So that's the DVD. But just before we do this, this is how I do it. It's just nice to put a layer of washing up liquid on the bottom just to clean the undersides whilst you're doing it. Just makes them nice and sparkly. Put both in there. Doesn't matter with these how rough I am with them. And then you washing up liquid bottle. See, I'm doing that, a few layers over the top. Nice big chunky amount. I have to cover all of it because it's the water that really does the effect, but this is always a nice one to use. And as I said, I've used Persil as a very, very good one. It gets rid of everything, but you can just use the more common stuff. Anyway, let's just get the hot water. Now literally this should have just boiled, so it'll all be steaming and coming out. And it's very important. And then just start by pouring the water over the discs. Isn't this fun? Retro gaming activity. Now they'll float in there for a bit. That's fine, that's fine. I usually use a full kettle to do it because then they're nice and covered. Right, and as soon as you do this, you must have a clock on hand. I've got a stopwatch, yeah? Basically 15 minutes you have to leave it for. Not a minute after that, exactly 15 minutes, yeah? We'll leave that ticking for a bit. If you want, you can swirl the ball around, the disc will move ever so slightly. You won't see anything happening, but I can promise you the magic's happening in the head. Anyway, be back in a few moments, guys. And we're back. And as you can see, it's just hit 15 minutes. I've just moved the bowl onto the sink because this makes it a lot easier. Now, the water's probably cooled down a fair bit by now. I can just about dip my finger in it, just like a warm cup of coffee. But next thing to do is just tip it out into your sink. Want to be careful you don't get it on you. The reason you don't want to log it to the 15 minutes is because you don't want it doing possibly any more damage. If you leave it for about half an hour and stuff, you can start affecting the label that's impressed onto it. So 15 minutes max, because that'll strip away the layer. The layer dissolves in about 11 to 12 minutes, but you have the extra 3 minutes just for it to settle and dissipate. Anyway, nice and easy. The next thing, now it's clean, right, and it's glistening away, so you just turn on your good old cold water tap, get each disc, making a mess there, It's alright for me touching these because they're just a blank disc, so it doesn't really matter. And all you do is just give it a good rinse around, especially in the middle, just to get any like bubble residue off or anything like that. Alright, and I'll show you why, and I'll put it to one side a second and I'll show you why once we've done the other. Yeah, nice and easy, good rinse off cold water. Go around in circles like that, make sure you've got the core. Stops them smelling as well. Right, so that's that bit done. I'll give them a quick shake off. Right, now you can use a towel, sometimes preferably lint free, but I just tend to use a tea towel because all you're basically doing is you're not rubbing them down. Be very, very careful of this. I say you can use a normal bath towel. I mean, I've done that from time to time. And then all you do, place your disc down, the lasered end facing up, and then just fold the towel over, right, and then just dab. See what I'm doing there? Dab both. I'm to do this with the camera by hand, so it's a bit shaky, apologies for that. You see what I mean there? You've got a good bit of it off. I've not used a very good towel, I'm afraid, but a normal towel will just soak up and drain off all the water. If it hasn't done it perfectly, just fling the towel back over, dab again, and then what you do is, you see where the hole is there, you'll find it by touch. Just put your finger in the middle and squidge it around. Alright, that one's just about drying off. You'll see, as I say, I don't know if you can see them marks on there, those aren't scratch marks, it's just the anticipated heat. But as again, I'm using the daft tea towel with marks on. You want to use something very smooth and very flat with your towel. But as you see that side's alright because it's anyway, just dab again and just show you up close. There you go, it gleams nice and shiny and clean, and that protective layer is gone. Now keep in mind, if you're worrying, that protective layer does nothing except protect the disc from when they factory pressed it. It's just an extra bit of guarding against light scratch marks. Of course, it just means in future when you're handling the disc, you'll have to stop being a bit daft and picking them up by thumb and fingers and stuff, because they'll be ever a bit more slightly sensitive. But if you've got a disc which is covered in like light scuff marks and scratches and things, this can be a fantastic way of recovering them. I mean, if they're going that way, I mean, it doesn't really matter if you do this, because you're going to get a bit of life out of them. Other than that, if it then doesn't work, say the disc was scratched, so we scratched and we're still jumping a bit, it'll lessen. I promise you, I've been doing this for years. The other thing to then do is you're looking at spending money and you're getting them like silicone stuff style off eBay and Amazon and things, where basically you sprinkle it over and lay the silicone. It's like I think it's a gel or a powder, which then restores the scratch layers. But that, again, that can be expensive, or probably better to get it done at some sort of gaming shop. But this is a very handy way. I mean, I do it with all of me retro game. I say I've not bothered with Dreamcast because I've done a few of them and they just make no difference. And even on some really knackered PlayStation 1 discs which just would not load, I did this and they were spot on afterwards. I get a good chunk of gameplay out of them. So yeah. Anyway guys, as always, thanks for watching, and please look forward to another video soon.